Welcome to LUME Auto. Today, we step into the clouds, not metaphorically, but literally. This is the 2035 Mercedes-Maybach Celestique, known across the automotive world as the Cloud Cruiser, a name that defines the next chapter of opulent travel. Where most luxury vehicles drive on roads, the Celestique glides, floats, and moves as if it were born of the sky itself. It's not merely a car. It's a sanctuary on motionless air, a whisper of perfection suspended between earth and heaven. The philosophy of the Cloud Cruiser? When Mercedes-Maybach set out to redefine ultra-luxury mobility, they envisioned something beyond traditional sedans and limousines. They wanted an experience so refined that even the feeling of motion would disappear. Thus was born Project Celestique, a code name for a 5-year mission to create a ground cloud, a car that moves in complete serenity, with no vibrations, no sound, and no resistance perceptible to the human body. The result is staggering. The 2035 Celestique doesn't drive like any car before it. It floats on a cushion of adaptive magnetic suspension, a system derived from aerospace gyroscopic technology. Every movement is measured in micrometers, every acceleration tuned to the rhythm of human breath. The exterior is sculpted in what Maybach calls liquid serenity design. Smooth curves flow, uninterrupted from the illuminated Maybach, grille to the trailing line of the rear haunches, blending aerodynamics and elegance into a single visual note. The body panels are composed of a new material, Silvium alloy, an ultra-light composite infused with nanoceramic dust that refracts sunlight in subtle hues. When the Celestique rolls under daylight, it shimmers with a texture like morning fog kissed by gold. At first glance, it feels as though you're staring at something unreal, a mirage of chrome and mist. But then you realize it's real, and that's when awe turns into silence. Design language. Floating sculpture. The Celestique's design is not about aggression or dominance. It's about weightlessness. The front fascia features Maybach's traditional dual lighting signature, 2 strips of LED light that seem to hover independently of the body. The grille itself is surrounded by a glass shroud, and beneath it flows a soft underglow of adaptive light that responds to mood, environment, and even music. From the side, there are no door handles. Doors open gracefully as they sense your approach. The tires, they are wrapped in luminous ride spheres, wheels with hidden suspension chambers and gold-tinted transparent shells that rotate as if floating on air. The rims glow faintly in the dark, not with light, but with refracted luminescence from embedded microprisms. Every edge, curve, and detail has been sculpted for tranquility. Even the mirrors are replaced by floating lenses that retract when not needed. The Celestique's design goal was to make the car appear as though it's breathing, and when it starts to move, it does. The interior, where clouds take form step. Inside the Cloud Cruiser, and you immediately understand why Mercedes calls it a mobile atmosphere. The cabin is not designed like a car's. It's designed like a 5-star sky lounge. The seats are wrapped in Maybach Aerosoft, a synthetic silk leather blend engineered to remain cool and breathable regardless of external temperature. Each seat forms around you like memory foam made of mist. Ambient lights drift through the panels like slow auroras, shifting hues according to your pulse and respiration. Above, the panorama cloud roof spans the entire ceiling, a single piece of smart crystal that projects digital skylines or real-time views of the sky through augmented transparency. You can choose to fly through simulated clouds, sunsets, or starfields even when you're parked in your garage. The rear cabin, the true heart of the Celestique, features zero-gravity recliners with built-in oxygen enrichment. Each passenger zone has its own climate dome, creating individualized atmospheric bubbles, warm mist, cool breeze, or fragrance infusion of your choice. The audio system, built in collaboration with Burmester Signature Air Sound, doesn't play through speakers. It resonates through the air itself, producing sound waves you feel instead of hear. Imagine Mozart's Requiem, not echoing from a speaker, but whispering through the air like morning fog touching your skin. Powertrain, the floating engine. Underneath this ethereal beauty lies a mind-bending engineering masterpiece. The Celestique is powered by Maybach's new twin-hybrid propulsion system, codenamed Nimbus. At its core is a V12 hydrogen-electric hybrid producing 1,200 horsepower, but that number barely captures what it does. The Nimbus system doesn't transfer power through axles. It uses magnetic field propulsion similar to maglev trains, allowing the car to hover a few millimeters above the ground at speed. In motion, the Celestique doesn't roll. It glides. The effect is hypnotic. From the outside, the car appears to move as if on invisible rails, effortlessly silent. Inside, passengers feel nothing but stillness. Even at 250 quadrants, a cup of tea remains perfectly still on the rear table. The drivetrain is governed by Maybach's Sky Control AI, a predictive balance system that adjusts every millisecond to road imperfections and air pressure changes. But, unlike other vehicles, the AI doesn't assist the driver. It anticipates in silence, adjusting suspension, torque, and cabin motion fields with invisible precision. There is no sound from the engine. Instead, a deep harmonic tone resonates through the bodywork, a presence note, carefully tuned to human hearing to create calm. Mercedes calls this acoustic serenity mode, and it feels like driving through a dream. The experience of motionless motion. The first test drivers of the Celestique reported something strange. They couldn't feel when the car started moving. One journalist described it as time stopping for a moment. The car lifts slightly. The outside world begins to flow past the windows, and yet the body feels completely stationary. Mercedes calls this phenomenon sensory neutrality, the absence of any mechanical feedback to the human body. There's no vibration, no inertia, no sensation of speed. The only clue that you're moving is the changing scenery. It's like traveling through a dreamscape of glass and silence. Craftsmanship beyond material. Celestique's construction process is more art than engineering. Each vehicle is hand-built in Sindelfingen, Germany, where artisans wearing white gloves assemble the body in near-total silence. Every panel is polished for 72 hours. Every emblem is laser-engraved under microscope precision. The steering wheel, if you can still call it that, is carved from translucent onyx and trimmed in gold filigree. Even the control dials are made from sapphire crystal glass. The carpets are woven from genuine Mongolian cashmere infused with silver dust for light reflection. There is no visible button anywhere. Every surface is touch-reactive, voice-responsive, and gesture-sensitive. You simply breathe, speak, or move your hand slightly, and the environment changes accordingly. This is not just luxury, it's transcendence. Legacy of the Cloud. As Part 1 concludes, the Maybach Celestique already feels like an artifact from a more graceful dimension, a future where speed and serenity coexist, where roads feel like clouds and travel feels like meditation. But the story doesn't end here. In Part 2, we'll explore what it's like to live with the Celestique, its rituals, its hidden features, and the surreal experiences it offers to those privileged enough to step inside. The first time you sit inside the Mercedes-Maybach Celestique, it's as if the world outside dissolves. There are no mechanical sounds, no vibrations, no hum of machinery, only an enveloping calm that feels almost unnatural in a vehicle. The door closes behind you with the faintest whisper, and an atmosphere of stillness wraps around your senses. The cabin breathes subtly, adjusting temperature, scent, and lighting to your pulse and mood. Every breath you take feels aligned with the car's rhythm. It's more than transportation. It's meditation in motion. The designers wanted you to feel as though you were entering a living space suspended between heaven and earth. The Celestique's interior glows softly in tones of ivory and moonlight gold. Surfaces shimmer with a pearlescent sheen, and the seats cradle you like slow-moving clouds. You don't sit, you float. The edges of the cabin seem to vanish, replaced by soft light that bends gently into the contours of your vision. The panoramic roof shifts from clear to milky white as sunlight moves, diffusing warmth like a gentle morning breeze. Every inch of the Celestique is built for sensory harmony. The sound system, co-developed with Burmester, doesn't use speakers. Instead, it turns the entire air volume of the cabin into a resonating instrument. When music plays, you don't just hear it. You feel it vibrate through the seat, the air, and even your heartbeat. It's so seamless that when you close your eyes, you can't tell where the sound begins or ends. A quiet violin note may float past your left ear, while a piano chord materializes behind your spine. It's the kind of audio experience that feels impossible in the physical world. Even the air is curated. Mercedes engineers call it cloud climate. Microscopic moisture levels are balanced in real time. Fragrance is diffused in molecular harmony with cabin temperature. When the ambient lighting glows in warm amber, you might smell a faint touch of sandalwood and jasmine. When it shifts to silver blue, the air grows cooler and fresher, with hints of alpine mist. Every journey becomes a slow orchestration of emotion, fragrance, and sound, tuned precisely to your inner calm. Driving, the Celestique feels less like commanding a machine and more like guiding a current. The steering is electric but natural, with no resistance, no kickback. You move your hand slightly, and the car understands. The throttle doesn't respond in a surge. It eases forward as if you're gliding downhill through weightless air. The magnetic suspension floats over every imperfection, sensing each particle of motion before it happens. It's not reacting to bumps. It's predicting them. At 200 kilometers per hour, the cabin remains as silent as a sealed music studio. You could whisper to someone in the back seat and still be heard clearly. From the outside, the Celestique appears almost supernatural. The underbody glows faintly with an aura of gold-white light, reflecting off the ground like the reflection of a full moon on calm water. The silhouette is elongated, smooth, and devoid of sharp edges. It doesn't look aggressive. It looks serene. Pedestrians stop and stare, not because of its size or sound, but because it feels unreal, as if a vision from a dream had slipped into reality for a brief moment. One of the Celestique's most remarkable features is its weightless glide mode. With a touch on the console, the car adjusts its suspension field to reduce ground contact vibration by 98%. On long highways, this mode transforms motion into stillness. You can place a droplet of water on the center console and it will remain perfectly still for hours. The car doesn't drive. It levitates across distance. In this state, passengers often lose track of speed entirely. One may be traveling at 250 kilometers per hour and yet feel as though they're standing still inside a floating palace. Every aspect of the Celestique's journey is ceremonial. When you arrive at your destination, the car lowers itself gently, doors opening outward like wings. A soft chime plays, an original composition by German pianist Martin Kohl, created exclusively for Maybach. The floor beneath your feet lights up as you step out, guiding you with subtle illumination, like a runway. The car doesn't announce its presence with noise or drama. It simply exists with grace. For those who own the Celestique, there is no such thing as a drive. There are only experiences. The car's interface allows for fully curated travel environments. You can select Ethereal Morning, Nocturne Voyage, or Golden Hour. Each theme changes the entire atmosphere, visuals on the panoramic roof, scent, sound, and even the rhythm of the suspension. On Ethereal Morning, you feel a slow rolling mist drifting through a virtual skylight. On Golden Hour, the cabin glows in liquid amber while soft piano plays through invisible air. In the rear cabin, passengers can activate Silent Interval Mode, which isolates each individual seat in a field of silence. Conversations fade softly, sound becomes personal, and peace becomes tangible. You could be in the same car with 3 people, each existing in their own quiet, private realm. It's a masterpiece of technology hidden under the guise of simplicity, At night, the Celestique comes alive in a different way. Its body panels glow subtly under moonlight, reflecting stars like the surface of calm water. The rear Maybach emblem illuminates in soft silver white, hovering against the trunk panel as if floating in midair. Inside, the roof turns transparent, revealing a view of the night sky above. The experience feels almost spiritual, like sailing through space rather than driving on Earth. The sense of time itself changes inside this car. There's no urgency, no rush, no mechanical tension. Everything flows, pauses, and breathes in rhythm. The Celestique teaches you to slow down, not because you must, but because it feels right. It's luxury not just in material, but in spirit. Mercedes-Maybach created this vehicle not to dominate the world, but to transcend it. They wanted to prove that true luxury is not about noise, speed, or status. It's about peace, stillness, and control over experience. And in that sense, the Celestique is the purest expression of Maybach philosophy ever built. When the journey ends and you step out, the silence follows you. The doors close behind with a soft sigh, and for a moment, you feel that the air outside has changed. That maybe you've brought some of that calm back with you. The Celestique doesn't just take you somewhere. It changes the way you exist while getting there. Subscribe for more luxury cars. The night stretches endlessly ahead, the kind of night where the road feels like an invitation to eternity. The Mercedes-Maybach Celestique hums softly beneath the starlit sky, its reflection gliding across the road like a silver comet suspended just above the earth. Inside, the world feels like a sanctuary. There is no separation between comfort and technology, no line between imagination and craftsmanship. The Celestique isn't a car, it's a world in motion, one meticulously crafted to redefine what it means to travel. The journey through the midnight plains begins in silence. The driver's seat embraces you like a throne molded by the wind itself. The digital glass cockpit wraps gently around your field of view, not overwhelming but guiding, each shimmer of information appearing like starlight. The steering wheel, trimmed in white suede and framed by gold inlays, pulses faintly in rhythm with your heartbeat. This is where the car's soul and the human touch converge. You don't just drive the Celestique, you breathe with it. As you cruise through empty landscapes, the sound of wind becomes a whisper. The cabin lights adjust automatically, shifting into a tranquil sapphire hue that mimics the moon's reflection on calm water. The seats recline slightly, adapting to your posture, sensing when your muscles begin to tire. It's subtle, nearly imperceptible, yet perfect. The Celestique has learned your movements, your preferences, even the rhythm of your breathing. This is what true personalization means. Outwardly, the Celestique gleams under the celestial canopy, its polished metallic body reflecting galaxies above. The headlights project a soft, diffused glow, not harsh beams, but ambient illumination that spreads like liquid light across the horizon. Each line of the vehicle's design captures movement in stillness. It doesn't race against the wind. It moves with it, like a whisper through silk. Passengers in the rear are cocooned in unparalleled serenity. The reclining lounge seats, upholstered in cloud-weave fabric exclusive to Maybach, seem to dissolve beneath them. Embedded crystals in the door panels scatter reflections of subtle color gradients, creating the illusion of drifting through aurora light. One could easily forget the world outside, lost in this floating oasis of beauty and restraint. There's poetry in every motion. The Celestique glides across mountain passes where fog drapes over the road like a dream. The silence becomes symphonic. The hum of the electric motors resonates faintly, more emotion than sound. The scent within the cabin shifts, now touched by pinewood and evening rain, evoking the essence of altitude and calm. Each mile feels less like distance covered and more like meditation deepened. When the vehicle descends into the sleeping city, it does so without a single note of intrusion. The city lights reflect off its chrome edges, shimmering like gold ribbons dancing across its curves. The Celestique's reflection appears in every glass building it passes. Sleek, graceful, untouchable. Even among skyscrapers and artificial brilliance, it stands apart, as if it were born not of industry, but of imagination itself. Parked at a private harbor, under an open night sky, the Celestique rests silently beside a line of luxury yachts. The same clientele who command oceans now gaze upon this machine with wonder. The door opens without sound, revealing a cabin bathed in moonlight. It feels alive, breathing, pulsing faintly as if aware that its purpose has been fulfilled, to carry serenity across chaos, to move elegance through time. The owner steps out and pauses. The air is still. The faint glow from the vehicle's underbody lights up the wet surface of the dock, creating a reflection so perfect that it seems as though the car floats above its own shadow. He turns, gazing one last time before walking away, and the Celestique seals itself. Its interior lights fade one by one, and the golden Maybach emblem shimmers for a brief moment before disappearing into the dark. Somewhere in the stillness, there's a sense of realization. This isn't about wealth or prestige. It's about mastering peace. It's about proving that humanity can build something so delicate, so harmonious, that it transcends noise, chaos, and competition. The Celestique represents not the end of luxury, but its rebirth, a philosophy of movement wrapped in tranquility. Inside every line, every stitch, every curve of its body, there's the echo of centuries of craftsmanship refined to perfection. Rolls, Bentley, Aston Martin, they all whisper of legacy. But the Celestique, it speaks of evolution. It is the physical embodiment of calm intelligence, grace given form. As dawn begins to break, the horizon blushes with gold, and the Celestique's paint mirrors it like liquid light. It awakens softly, its systems humming back to life, and for a brief, ethereal moment it appears to lift from the ground. Then, with the gentlest motion, it glides away once more, back onto the open road, where silence meets the sky. The legend of the Maybach Celestique isn't written in horsepower or top speed. It's written in the hush between moments, in the slow inhale of breath before the world begins again. It's not a car. It's a feeling, an art form, a sanctuary built for those who no longer chase time but glide through it. This is the 2035 Mercedes-Maybach Celestique, the Cloud Cruiser. And for those who believe luxury has no limits, this car doesn't just move across the earth. It moves beyond